Hani counts the soccer team in his native Africa as one of his proudest accomplishments.
The name of the team is called Superstar.
He organizes and funds the team from his home in Manchester, his way of giving young African boys a fighting chance, a chance he never got. When civil war broke out in Sudan in the mid-1980s, Peter, who's now 37, was just a little boy.
It is incredibly dangerous if you think of government soldiers attacking villages with guns and tanks rolling into the village and airplane coming from the air bombing villages.
A bombing raid over his village in southern Sudan killed his little sister and injured his mother.
The village was covered with, was a black cloud of smoke. You could not see. What you could hear was people crying. You could hear cows. Cows are moving everywhere. It was everything in that area was confused. Nobody knew what was going on until after the smoke cleared. People were coming crying to our home, and it was not only my sister who was killed on that day. 2 cousins were also killed.
More villagers would have likely died had it not been for recent flooding.
The ground was still very soft. When the bombs were dropped, most of them went down, and they did not explode and come back to the surface. So that helped a lot.
The attacks became more frequent. The northern Sudanese militia, made up of Arab Muslims, was trying to drive out black Christians from the south and take over oil-rich fields.
When they don't find soldiers, they turn us against the civilians and begin to burn down their houses and take cows and their belongings and take over the churches.
One afternoon, Peter, then 9, and some other boys were tending cattle outside the village. He could hear his parents calling out for him in the distance.
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? It's like they called your name. Where are you? And people are crying.
The boys sensed danger.
And we could see smoke in a far away villages that had been already attacked, and they set those little huts on fire. And we were like, what the hell is going on? So we came back home when we saw that everybody was gone.
Their families ran for their lives.
I saw people running with their kids, and all I was doing was running through everybody trying to find my family. I mean, you can't find them. Can't find them.
With nowhere to go and army troops closing in, Peter fled into the woods, separated from his family for good.
It was very scary. It was beyond scary.
In the woods, he would face new enemies: lions, crocodiles, and snakes.
Even some people who were lucky enough to make it into the bush. Bushes in South Sudan or in Africa, they are not like bushes here. There are a lot of wild animals. You have venomous snakes. If you're bitten by a snake, you're gonna die in the forest.
Peter and at least 20,000 other young boys traveled through dense forests on foot for months and months in search of refugee camps. Hungry, weak, and frightened. Half of them died.
I saw people dying from diarrhea. When you feed on wild fruits and you feed on tree leaves, and they are not nutritious. They're not like natural food that your body wanted to eat, but you eat it in an attempt to survive.
The survivors became known as the Lost Boys of Sudan, taking shelter in camps in Ethiopia and Kenya. Peter eventually ended up in Uganda, orphaned and terrified.
I came to realize that this was a new beginning, was a new life. My mom is not there. So I began to be strong and try to find ways to get along with other people. And that was the only way I would make my life better.
After After a decade of living in camps, Peter was one of about 4,000 lost boys who resettled in the United States. First stop, upstate New York, and then Manchester, where he's now lived for 16 years.
I love New Hampshire in general. This state has been so great, to me, and there's nothing more I could ask for.
He's now a U.S. citizen, earned 3 college degrees, held several jobs, started a nonprofit and that soccer team back home in southern Sudan. In 2006, he finally returned home, reuniting with his family.
Wow, it was a great time, great moment. One of the, it was a lot of joy. A lot of tears of joy. I would say a lot of tears of joy and a lot of hugging.
18 years had passed. His mother had died of injuries suffered in the bombing. An older brother was shot to death. Peter now returns home a couple of times a year. He married a childhood friend and they have 4 children. Eventually, they'll join him in New Hampshire. Happy and content, crediting his survival on advice his father gave him when he was just a young boy.
My dad always told me, do not give up, no matter what, because life is what you make it to be. Yeah.